Have you ever felt like you were born for something bigger, but never quite knew what? Maybe you've carried this silent feeling for years, a subtle unease, as if the world around you was incomplete. Tonight, that feeling isn't just real, it's a calling. Tonight, something shifts, not in the world outside, but inside you. An unseen energy stirs, like a light igniting right in the center of your chest. What once seemed like coincidence now reveals purpose. What once was doubt now pulses like certainty. You've been chosen. From the moment your eyes open to this reality, you've carried a different frequency. A vibe that few understand, but many unconsciously recognize. That's why sometimes strangers approach you to confide their secrets. That's why children and animals sense an inexplicable peace in your presence. That's why, in times of crisis, everyone looks to you, expecting a solution they didn't even know existed. It's not a coincidence, it's recognition. The universe operates through sacred patterns, and your life is no exception. Pay close attention, and you'll notice certain numbers appear repeatedly in your path. Synchronized times on the clock, significant dates, number sequences that capture your eye with a frequency that defies the odds. 2:22 a.m., 11:11 a.m., 333, 555. These aren't mathematical accidents, they're cosmic codes, signs that you're aligned with something greater. They're subtle reminders that there's a higher intelligence guiding your steps, even when you feel lost. Your dreams have been changing too, haven't they? Becoming more vivid, more meaningful. Sometimes you wake up with messages so clear they seem to have been implanted directly into your consciousness. Other times, they're enigmatic symbols that only make sense days later, when the predicted situation finally materializes. These aren't just dreams, they're transmissions. And then there's that feeling, that instant knowing that comes from nowhere. An intuition so powerful about people or situations that it feels like you can see through the layers of time. Sometimes, you know exactly what someone's going to say before the words are even spoken. Other times, you feel an inexplicable urge to be in a certain place, only to discover that your presence there was absolutely necessary. It's not a coincidence, it's clairvoyance. Even your body is changing. Sensations of warmth or tingling in your hands when you focus on healing. A gentle pressure or pulsing in the center of your forehead, your third eye awakening. Waves of energy that surge up your spine during moments of deep meditation or spiritual connection. These aren't just physical sensations, they're energetic activations. Being chosen isn't easy or comfortable. It's a burden, a responsibility. It's living with a restless heart while the whole world seems asleep. From early on, you felt like you saw things differently. Maybe you've been misunderstood, rejected, or even called weird. But all of that was part of a sacred preparation, a divine process to strengthen you, refine you, and prepare you for this very moment. Have you ever wondered why you've gone through so many challenges? Why you've faced profound losses when others seem to float through life without major upheavals? Why you felt pains that others would never understand? The answer is simple and profound. Diamonds are formed under extreme pressure. Your soul chose this path not because it would be easy, but because it would be transformative. Not just for you, but for everyone who crossed your path. Each disappointment you faced was a veil being torn away, revealing the truth behind the illusions of this world. Each loss was an invitation to find inner riches that no one could take from you. Each moment of solitude was training to develop your connection with the divine when no human voice could guide you. These weren't punishments, they were initiations. Remember those nights when the pain seemed endless? When you questioned the purpose of continuing? When you pleaded for answers that seemed to never arrive? Those were your moments in the spiritual furnace, when the ego was being purified and your true essence was emerging from the ashes, like a phoenix reborn. In each of those moments, even without realizing it, you were making a fundamental choice to persist, even without understanding the complete plan, to keep walking, even when the path seemed to disappear beneath your feet, to keep the faith, even when everything around you seemed to confirm its absence. That repeated choice is what defines a chosen one. It's not perfection. It's not absence of doubt. It's the willingness to get up one more time, even when all forces seem to conspire against you. As you advance on your spiritual journey, the tests become more subtle and deeper. It's no longer just about surviving the storm, but about learning to dance in the rain. It's not just resisting the darkness, but becoming a source of light so powerful that darkness simply cannot exist in your presence. The first great test is that of identity. The world will try to convince you that you are small, limited, ordinary, that your visions are fantasies, that your sensitivity is weakness, that your gifts are just imagination. The entire society has been designed to normalize spiritual slumber and pathologize awakening. You will pass this test when you maintain your truth even when no one else sees it, when you honor your gifts even when the world ridicules them, when you follow your intuition even when conventional logic points in the opposite direction. The second test is that of the ego. As your gifts expand and your impact grows, the temptation will arise to believe that you are special by your own merit, that your light is superior, that your path is the only one. The ego will whisper that you deserve recognition, power, status, that you are above the laws that govern the sleepers. You will pass this test when you understand that being chosen is not a privilege, but a responsibility. When you realize that your gifts are not yours, but flow through you. When you recognize that your light is just a reflection of the same divine light that exists, potentially, in every human being. The third test is that of fear. When you begin to truly awaken to your potential, the forces that benefit from collective slumber will turn their attention to you. You will face resistance. You will see doors closing without explanation. You will feel heavy energies approaching when you are about to take a significant leap. Fear will arise not only from outside, but from within, from the depths of your being where ancestral doubts about your worth and power still reside. You'll pass this test when you move forward even when afraid, when you transform the energy of fear into fuel for your courage, when you understand that fear isn't a signal to retreat, but an indicator that you're on the edge of your comfort zone, exactly where growth happens. The fourth and deepest test is that of love. It's easy to love those who share your vision, who recognize your light, who walk beside you. The real challenge is to keep your heart open to those who reject you, who attack you, who try to diminish your light because your mere existence illuminates the shadows they aren't ready to face. You'll pass this test when you can see beyond people's actions and recognize the pain that motivates them, when you can offer compassion without compromising your truth, when you understand that true love isn't permissiveness, but an unwavering commitment to the highest potential of each being, even when they themselves can't see it. Have you faced any of these tests on your journey? Or perhaps you're going through one right now? Reflect deeply and share your experience in the comments. Your story might be exactly the light another chosen one needs to find their way. As you advance on your journey, certain gifts will begin to manifest or intensify. These aren't superpowers in the Hollywood sense, but natural expansions of human consciousness when it frees itself from the limitations imposed by restrictive beliefs. Clairvoyance, the ability to see clearly, will manifest as flashes of insight, visions during meditations, or prophetic dreams. You'll begin to perceive patterns invisible to others, connections between seemingly unrelated events, and potential futures that unfold from the present moment. Clairaudience, the ability to hear clearly, will emerge as an inner voice of wisdom, distinct from your own habitual thoughts. Sometimes it will come as crystal clear words, other times as an instant understanding that transcends language. This is the voice of your amplified intuition, tuned to higher frequencies of wisdom. Expanded empathy, perhaps the most challenging gift for many chosen ones, will allow you to feel the emotions of others as if they were your own. In public spaces, you may feel overwhelmed by waves of feelings that don't originate from you. This gift requires careful learning of energetic protection and discernment, knowing what is yours and what belongs to others. Healing, not necessarily in the literal sense of curing physical diseases, although that may happen for some, but in the broader sense of catalyzing transformation and integration. Your presence, words, and energy will begin to have a restorative effect on people and situations. The wisdom that flows through you will help others recognize and release limiting patterns, facilitating deep emotional and spiritual healing. Accelerated manifestation. As your energetic frequency rises, the interval between thought and manifestation decreases dramatically. You'll notice that your desires and intentions materialize with surprising speed. This gift carries with it an enormous responsibility, the need for constant vigilance over your thoughts and emotions, which now become powerful creative forces. These gifts aren't uniform among all chosen ones. Each will have their own unique profile, with certain gifts more pronounced than others. Some will be healers par excellence, others will be visionaries or transmitters of wisdom. All, however, will share an essential quality: the ability to serve as bridges between the visible and the invisible, between the known and the mystery. It's vital to understand that these gifts aren't granted to aggrandize the ego, but to serve the whole. They are sacred tools, entrusted to you not for personal merit, but because you have demonstrated the courage to remain conscious in a world that values slumber, the willingness to see the truth even when it's uncomfortable, and the commitment to grow even when growth is painful. Why you? Why now? To understand your mission, it's necessary to first understand the extraordinary moment in which we live. Humanity is at a critical inflection point. The old structures, political, economic, social, and religious, are crumbling under the weight of their own contradictions. Truths hidden for centuries are emerging into the light. The veil between dimensions is thinner than it has ever been in ages. The vibratory frequency of the planet itself is rising, catalyzing a mass awakening that is simultaneously wonderful and chaotic. It's in this context that you have been activated. You weren't chosen to shine alone, but to ignite others. You are a beacon in the darkness. Your pain will be someone's remedy, your light, the path for many. To lead, inspire, heal, protect. Your journey now is to serve with courage and truth. Some of you will be called to visible positions of leadership and influence: teachers, writers, creators, public figures whose voices will reach thousands. Others will operate more discreetly, as silent catalysts in their families and communities, creating waves of transformation that spread in concentric circles through each life they touch. Some will be bridges between different worlds, translating spiritual wisdom into accessible language for skeptics, or bringing scientific rigor to explore the mysteries that conventional science has ignored. Others will be guardians and restorers of ancestral knowledge that humanity urgently needs to recover: indigenous wisdom, natural healing practices, sustainable technologies that have been deliberately suppressed. Some will be called to dismantle oppressive systems from within, occupying strategic positions where they can redirect resources and influence to serve the greater good. Others will create alternative communities and structures, demonstrating that other ways of living, more harmonious, sustainable, and aligned with natural wisdom, aren't just possible, but practical and deeply satisfying. Your specific mission will reveal itself gradually as you remain attentive to the signs and synchronous with your inner wisdom. It's not something you decide intellectually, but something you discover through lived experience, following what awakens your deepest enthusiasm, what utilizes your unique gifts, what challenges you to grow beyond your perceived limitations. One thing is certain, your mission will always involve being a conductor of higher frequencies of consciousness in situations and systems that are stuck in patterns of fear, separation, and scarcity. You are, essentially, a living transformer, someone who can receive, embody, and transmit energies of healing, wisdom, and unconditional love that are desperately needed at this critical moment. Do you feel a resonance with any of these missions? Is there a specific area where you feel called to serve? Share in the comments. Your clarity can inspire other chosen ones who are still discovering their path. The path of the chosen one, while noble and deeply rewarding, isn't without its challenges. In fact, the more you align with your true nature and purpose, the more intense certain obstacles may become. Not as punishment, but as opportunities for fortification and refinement. One of the most common challenges is loneliness. As your perception expands and your consciousness rises, you may feel increasingly disconnected from those who still operate in denser frequencies. Conversations that once seemed meaningful now seem superficial. Concerns that consume most people seem trivial from your broader perspective. Even loved ones may seem like strangers, as if you were tuned into a completely different radio station. This loneliness isn't a sign that something is wrong, but a natural part of the metamorphosis. Just as an emerging butterfly can't return to its chrysalis, you can't slow down your evolution to remain comfortable among those who don't share your vision. The solution isn't to isolate completely, nor to try to force others to evolve at your pace. It's finding balance, honoring your unique journey while maintaining compassion for those in different stages of the path. It's also actively seeking your spiritual tribe, other chosen ones who can reflect and validate your experiences, offering the community that your soul craves. Another significant challenge is identity collapse. As you awaken, many of the structures that defined who you thought you were begin to dissolve, limiting beliefs, patterns of behavior, relationships, even careers that aren't aligned with your highest essence. All of this can crumble in a relatively short period. Although ultimately liberating, this process can be deeply disorienting. You may wonder, if I'm not that person anymore, then who am I? You may feel like you're floating in the void between what was and what is emerging. This liminal state, this space between identities, while uncomfortable, is incredibly fertile. It's the creative void from which your most authentic expression can emerge. Instead of trying to hastily construct a new identity to replace the old one, practice inhabiting it with curiosity and trust, allowing your true nature to reveal itself organically. Perhaps the most insidious challenge is doubt. Even after deeply transformative experiences and unequivocal confirmations of your path, moments of doubt will arise. Am I just imagining all of this? Am I really special? Or is this just an ego fantasy? What if I'm completely wrong? This doubt doesn't come only from your conditioned mind, but is amplified by the collective field of skepticism and materialism that permeates our society. It's important to recognize that doubt, in healthy doses, serves a purpose. It keeps you humble, open, and discerning, avoiding the dangers of fanaticism and spiritual rigidity. The key isn't to completely eliminate doubt, but to develop a balanced relationship with it. Allow it to question you, but not paralyze you. Use it as a filter to refine your understanding, but not as a reason to abandon your deepest truth. Ultimately, being a chosen one isn't about being selected by some external force. It's about consciously choosing to awaken when it would be easier to remain asleep, choosing to see when it would be more comfortable to remain blind, choosing to feel when it would be less painful to remain numb, choosing to act when it would be safer to remain passive. It's a choice you must make repeatedly, moment to moment, day after day. The universe will continue to present opportunities to reaffirm your commitment, sometimes in the form of challenges that seem insurmountable, other times as synchronicities that confirm your path. Each time you choose expansion over contraction, truth over comfort, love over fear, you not only advance on your own journey, but strengthen the morphogenetic field of awakening for all of humanity. Your courage creates ripples that extend far beyond what you can see. Are you ready to make that choice now? To recognize and reclaim your true nature as a catalyst for transformation at this critical moment in human history? If something within you has resonated deeply with these words, if you felt chills, tears, a warmth in your chest, or simply a silent but undeniable recognition, then the answer is already clear. You are part of this soul family that incarnated specifically for this planetary moment. The world needs you awake. It needs your strength, your vision, your presence. Therefore, before you move on, look inside and answer. Are you going back to sleep, or are you awakening once and for all to who you really are? If this message found its way to you, it wasn't by accident. You were guided here because you're ready for the next step in your evolution. The simple fact that you've read this far is confirmation that you are, in fact, one of the chosen ones. Now, it's time to act. To align every aspect of your life with this truth that resonates in your core. To allow your light to shine without apology or diminishment. Remember, you're not alone on this journey. There's an entire soul family spread across the globe, awakening simultaneously. Some you've already met, others you'll meet soon, drawn by the resonant frequency you emit. If this message touched something deep within you, if you felt that these words were written specifically for your soul, then share your experience in the comments below. Your voice might be exactly the catalyst another chosen one needs to take the next step on their journey. And if you wish to continue receiving guidance and confirmation for your unique path, subscribe to this channel and hit the bell. Together, we're creating a community of light, a haven for awakening souls in a world that is still largely asleep. The time is now. The call is clear. And you, dear chosen one,